Welcome back everyone. We're going to be doing another comparison today, this time between the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the Google Pixel 4a. Now, I've been doing a lot of these comparisons, but I literally am so fascinated about the Pixel 4a. It's a $350 phone, and when you look at it and compare it to all these other phones, even this one that came out in 2018, it's pretty fascinating of what $350 can get you nowadays. So the Galaxy S9 came out in 2018, so it's about 2 years, it's a little bit over 2 years old, and you can pick up one of these for way less than, I think it's around like $280 on Amazon, but definitely less than 300 bucks, and you can snag one of these up fairly easily for probably even cheaper than that. Where the Pixel 4a is costing $350 brand new. So I'll leave the cheapest one on Amazon that I find of both of these. I don't know if the Pixel 4a is available yet, but the S9 I'll leave down link below if you want to pick it up from there. You can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the front and the screens of both, first of all, the sizes. You can see that the Galaxy S9 I think is a little bit longer than the Pixel 4a, but it doesn't seem that much different. They kind of feel kind of the same in the hand. The Pixel 4a I think is smaller though in every dimension, but it's kind of funny because they kind of have the same exact size screen on them, which is really cool. So starting off with the Galaxy S9, it has a 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 1440p and it's a really good looking panel, okay? Like, you cannot knock this panel out. It looks really good. I have One UI 2.0 on it. You have kind of 3D touch, I guess, in the center, but it's kind of pointless now because, you have gesture-based design now, but it's a really good looking panel. I really have never had any issues with it. You have a little bit of bezel on the top and bottom, but it's really not that big of a deal. If it's a big deal to you, then okay, you can yell about it, but for me, it's really not, and I kind of like it a little bit. Even with the Pixel 3a's bezel, I really didn't mind it too much, but this is perfectly fine for me. But again, when you look at something like the Pixel 4a, for some reason, the Pixel 4a looks so much more premium than the S9 because of that hole punch display, even though technically, it's not the most important thing, but it's still pretty fascinating. So the S9's display is great. I never had any issues with it. Where the Pixel 4a has a 5.81-inch OLED display, so a little bit bigger, 0.01 inches bigger, so, we're already kind of better there. It's a 1080p panel. Now, resolution-wise and the way it looks, I definitely don't think the Pixel 4a's panel is better than the S9's panel, but it's pretty decent. Both are pretty reflective. One thing I saw about the Pixel 4a's panel is that it's very reflective, so if I kind of push it to the side and stuff, it's kind of hard to tell over the camera. It actually looks pretty good. But even compared to the S9, the Pixel 4a's panel is reflecting way more, but you can't really tell over the camera for some reason. But you have that hole punch display, which is really cool, and I really do like that. Again, when you look at them side by side, you might just think that the Pixel 4a is the more premium one, even though technically it is in some cases, but it isn't in others, and I'll get into it in like 10 seconds. But the Pixel 4a's panel I think is really good too for the most part. I really don't have any issues with it either. But I would still probably give the edge to the S9 for having the better looking panel. Now, in terms of the thickness, the weird thing is about the S9 is that it kind of tapers off to the edges. So as you can see, it kind of thins out a little bit, where the Pixel 4a is completely flat. Now the Pixel 4a is also a little bit thicker, I think, but let alone the thickness and all that, the plastic feeling on the Pixel 4a is not my favorite thing ever. The S9 definitely has a much more better feeling, device. It's just better feeling overall. But the side with that aluminum and the buttons that are extremely hard right here, those are some of the most premium feeling devices ever from like the Galaxy S8 in my opinion, and the Pixel 4a definitely is not the best feeling device if I'm being honest. On the back you have single camera setups on both, you have flash and all that stuff. You do have fingerprint sensors in almost the exact same location, but the camera sensors are a little bit different, which is kind of funny. Now, the design-wise, I think the Pixel 4a looks more, design-friendly of this age of like 2020. More phones are starting to look like the Pixel 4a than the S9 in terms of the back, but it's still perfectly fine. Both panels are good for the most part. Glass on the back of the S9, plastic on the back of the Pixel 4a, and that's one of the bigger, disadvantages of the Pixel 4a would definitely be the build quality. Like I said, I think Google spent all their money on the screen and then kind of forgot about the rest of the phone in a way. But it's totally fine. Like, the Pixel 4a is still a really good phone in my opinion. In terms of everything else, there's IP certification on the Galaxy S9, which is very cool. The Google Pixel 4a does not have any IP certification at all, so kind of keep that in mind. It's kind of, annoying, but it is what it is. The S9 also has a micro SD card slot, which is really cool. The Google Pixel 4a does not have anything like that, so that kind of sucks. But again, you have 128 gigs of storage on this one, the only one model, so it's not bad actually, so that really pretty much covers it up in the outside. Definitely when it comes down to it, the Galaxy S9 is the much better feeling, more premium feeling device, but the Pixel 4a kind of looks better than the S9, In terms of software, this is actually the really sad part. The S9 was actually almost there of getting an extra year software support, but Samsung cut it down to only the S10 and newer, so I guess the S9 is stopping at One UI 2, which kind of sucks. But the Pixel 4a is just getting started with software updates, and that's one of the bigger advantages of picking up even a brand new budget phone in general, but a brand new Pixel phone is just the software updates. Even in 2018, we had the Pixel 2, and that's getting an extra year software support for Android 11, but the S9 is stopping at this age. And even in 2018, we had the Pixel 3, and that's not stopping anytime soon. Even the Pixel 2 from the year before this one, that's getting Android 11, and this one's stopping at Android 10, which is kind of sad. But the Pixel 4a is going to be lasting for a very long time, and definitely when you compare them both, I love stock Android. It looks so much better. One UI 2 is okay, but I definitely prefer stock Android. So when it comes down to it, Pixel 4a definitely wins in the software department. Now I'll go and hit on the specs. Now I'll go and do a little bit of a performance and speed test, but I'll tell you the specs within the phone first. The S9 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, octa-core CPU, and Adreno 630 GPU, and 4 gigs of RAM on each model, where the Pixel 4a has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 730G chipset, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 618 GPU, and 6 gigs of RAM. There's only one model of the Pixel 4a, so with that being said, let's go and see which one is the faster one. Okay, now that we're back, let me go and clear out all the apps in the background, and as you can see, that's all cleared out. But let me clear out the Pixel 4a. Okay. Let's go and load up the Play Store. 3, 2, 1. And Pixel 4a definitely faster. I don't know what the heck just happened here. Okay, I don't even know what's going on. Let's go and load up these third-party apps anyway. Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Pixel 4a definitely faster. The S9 was right behind it though. Snake versus Blocks. 3, 2, 1. And Pixel 4a faster. Galaxy S9 right behind it, but there wasn't really that crazy of a difference, but definitely I think the Pixel 4a was faster there for sure. Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. Now if I'm in a game, I'm going to have to restart it. So as you can see, I was a game on both, but I think the Galaxy S9 actually beat the Pixel 4a right there. That was very, very surprising. I was not expecting that. Let's go and just resume them and see if I can. Okay, I recovered pretty quickly, and they're about the same. There's not a big difference between both of them. We can do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Pixel 4a faster, S9 right behind it. You do Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And it's looking like the S9 is the faster one, and the 4a is right behind it. And it seems like maybe more intensive games, the Pixel 4a is a little bit slower. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but that might be the case. And as you can see right here, let me go and play a game for you guys. And they look about the same. Yeah, there's not going to be that big of a difference. The S9 screen, though, is definitely better. I can tell from this angle for sure. You can do BOFA, 3, 2, 1. And definitely Pixel 4a is faster. S9 a little bit behind it. Let me go and end off with Real Racing 3, 3, 2, 1. Now I may have to download the game on both, but even to get into the game was faster on the Pixel 4a for sure. Maybe there'll be a little bit of a change, I'm not really 100% positive. Pixel 4a definitely loaded up way faster. The S9 was literally right behind it though, maybe like a split second faster. So definitely when it comes down to the performance in this little speed test, I can definitely tell you I think the Pixel 4a is not only the more faster one, but maybe even the more smoother one when it comes down to it. So definitely when it comes down to the performance, I think that pretty much covers it. If you guys want a full speed test, I'll eventually do one though. Let me go and hit on the cameras very quickly though. Now on the back, like I stated, single camera setups on both. On the Galaxy S9, a 12 megapixel sensor. On the Pixel 4a, 12.2 megapixel sensor. We can do 4K at 30 on both, but you do have the ability of doing 4K at 60 on the Galaxy S9, which is a really cool feature. And I think in terms of the quality, the Galaxy S9 may have the better camera overall. I think the Pixel 4a's camera is great, and I think the user interface is a lot nicer, I think, than the one on One UI 2, but I still feel like you're getting more features from that Galaxy S9 camera than the 4a camera with the 4K at 60 and just the UI features in general. Even though the UI is more bulkier, I feel like you're getting more features here, so that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind. Single camera setup on the 4a, but kind of a dual camera setup on the S9. You're getting an 8 megapixel sensor and a 2 megapixel iris scanner. The 4a has that 8 megapixel sensor, and both are pretty much the same. You can do 1440p video on the S9 though, 1080p on the Pixel 4a. But definitely when it comes down to the camera, I would probably give the edge to the S9. Now ending it off with the battery life, you're getting a 3000 mAh battery on the S9 and a 3140 mAh battery on the 4a. And in this case, I would probably give the edge to the Pixel 4a. You're getting a lower resolution panel. The performance is better, and you're getting a different type of Snapdragon processor, which is interesting. But the S9 is also a little bit older. You have to keep that in mind. The battery probably has degraded a little bit on the S9 as well. So that's a pretty big thing to keep in mind. So I would probably give the edge to the Pixel 4a for having the better battery life. Now to kind of sum up this video and answer the question, if you have a Galaxy S9, should you upgrade to the 4A? I would say yeah, I mean you can do it. I would probably not recommend it though. I think going from an S9 to a Galaxy S10 is a far better deal, and the S10 is only a little bit more expensive in the used market. But if you are on a budget, if you have to spend only $350, maybe the 4A is the better way to go. But even then, I would probably still recommend picking up a Galaxy S10e. That's still getting an extra year software support. I think 2 more updates actually. But the S9 I think is a tremendous phone. So if it was between these two, I would rather pick up a 4A. But the S9 is still a really good device as well. So, but that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much. But definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count. So it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.